Test, test, test. Testing my audio. Test, test, test. Testing my audio. Okay, that sounds a lot better already. Let me mute this. Can we pump up the gain a little bit here without it being crazy? There must be a way to make this mono. Mono. So that should also be better. Yeah? Why does this keep pausing? Yeah, okay. That is a lot better. I want to see if I can crank the gain up a little bit more. A little bit more gain. Because I want to be a little bit further away than what I am. I'd like to be like this. Maybe. I think actually we want quite a bit more gain. Because I'm pretty quiet. Like I've got everything cranked. And it's pretty quiet. And also the mic is pretty close to me. I think I'm actually going to add gain here. See how this sounds. Because I've got gain almost fully. If I do that, yeah, see, we're going to start peaking. Right? How's it sound? This sounds okay though, actually. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go back to 0 here. Is there a way to just like default? Just delete this. I'm gonna crank my gain all the way on my interface. It's in the red, but I want to hear how it sounds. Okay, doesn't sound good. Good to know. So we're going to do it till it's like right below the red, occasionally getting into the red, but it doesn't seem like we're peaking. How's this sound? And now I'm going to add gain. We'll add like 5. How does this sound? Does it sound like it's peaking now? It's okay, we're getting a little bit more into the red, but We're gonna go up to 8. How does 8 sound? We're at 8 now. How does this sound? Because I have everything cranked. When I have it cranked, I want it to be loud, right? Obviously. I'd rather it be too loud than too quiet when literally like my everything is cranked. And even if, like if I'm talking loud, how does it sound when I'm talking loud? This is probably as loud as I would talk. So it like barely peaks there. But honestly, I think that's probably fine. I'm going to throw a compressor on here. Let's see how it sounds with a compressor. I don't understand how compressors work at all. I understand generally what they're supposed to do, but I don't understand how to use them. If I talk loud with a compressor, is this better? I think it should be better if I'm talking loud with a compressor. Okay, I would say that is better. While we're here, let's figure out the noise gate. Noise gate's another thing that I hate. I don't fully understand it. I know how to get my audio to sound okay in a recording, but in live, I don't understand how some of this stuff works. Oh. Okay. So it seems to be doing a pretty good job of cutting out the background noise, but how are we doing if I'm speaking quietly? So I think this actually works pretty well. I think it's working because of how much gain I have. So like when I speak, it really comes through, but it cuts out the bullshit. Because I hate every time I do it, I try to mess with the noise compressor. It always does that thing where it kind of cuts off the ends of my words. So if I'm talking, this is probably about as quiet as I would be talking. I think the compressor is actually probably what's helping this the most, because even though I'm talking very quietly, it's it's quite loud, but it isn't quite getting into the red. So how's this sound? Okay, I think everything sounds pretty good. This is probably the best my audio has ever sounded without any post, whatever you would call that, post work. I don't understand. What does this do? How does this sound with the noise suppressor? I would like to I don't know what, oh, my background noise is probably, I have a ceiling fan. That's probably part of it. So the problem with this, I guess, is that it uses CPU, which isn't a problem for what we're doing right now. But I may play video games eventually on stream. And if that happens, I wouldn't want to be using my CPU because I'm already using it to stream as well, obviously. I mean, we're getting a little bit of background noise when I talk, but it's not that bad. And I don't know if it's any better when I have the noise suppressor on. So here's the noise suppressor. I was just talking without it. How much does it affect the background noise? It's actually quite a bit better. I'm going to leave it on for now. This is one of those things that I will, well, I'll try to remember that I have it on. Let's just say that. Okay, so that was one thing I wanted to do. Another thing I wanted to do. Okay. I think I need to turn the gain down because I am kind of peaking. I think now that I have that compressor on, I don't need as much gain. Why did I just forget how to do this? Filter, gain. So let's drop it down to 5. So now that we're at 5, how does it sound? We're getting into the red a little bit. I don't know how much. If it sounds okay, then that's fine. I'd rather be too loud than too quiet. Okay, I think this is good. So I'm gonna turn that off. Turn off the stream that I was watching. So yeah, before we get into the researching again, the other thing I wanted to do really quickly is make like a be right back screen. So let's do this. I use GIMP because I don't want to pay for Photoshop, and this worked good enough for making thumbnails because that's pretty much all I do. So let's do new. This is gonna be very simple, and I don't know if I will. Actually, I'm pretty confident to say that I will not keep this forever. But yeah, let's do this. So we'll do white. I want to open. I don't know where I have this. If I'm turned away, I wonder how this sounds. So now I'm kind of like turned away from the mic a little bit because I'm looking at my other monitor. I wonder how this sounds. I think it sounds okay. It sounds good enough. Gosh, I can't find this. Here we go. So here is... Oh, whoops. No, I want to open as a layer. Gosh dang it. Here we go. This is my little avatar that I've been using. Whoa. Why is stuff happening? Let's scale this down a little bit more. And then I just want to do some text down here. And just say, I wonder if can you guys hear that train? Do that. Also would like it to be centered. I don't really care that much about the font, but I don't really know. I'm gonna say, we're not gonna use abbreviations. Be right back. So if you see this screen, that means I'm not there, but I will be right back. I'm doing this because my last stream, someone knocked on my door. A friend came over unexpectedly, and I ended the stream to go to the door because I felt weird about having my stream going while I, was talking to someone. But now if I have this, I can just pull up the screen. I'll make a scene for it. I'll make a scene for it that doesn't have the mic active, so I can just switch to this whenever I have to go for a moment. So I want to do this really quickly, and then we'll get to the good stuff. We'll get to that sweet researching. Back to OBS. Oh wait, no, you're not. Now you're now okay. Sorry, I was actually on the okay. I got here. You guys can't hear me. Okay, but that's also exactly what I want. So okay, let's get back to our researching. So like I said, I started doing this yesterday. But I don't have the stream up, so you can't go back and watch it. But basically, to give you a rundown, let me take my headphones off too, because I don't need these anymore. Basically, what we're doing here is I am hopefully making a video about Doge. Maybe you've heard of it. Elon Musk, Department of Government Efficiency. And it's basically going to be kind of like a timeline of what Doge said they would do pre and post election and what they actually did. And so right now I've just been working on like a research document that's just like day by day, not every day, but like every day there's been updates. And my document technically starts at like 2022. That's not, I mean, the only thing I have under 2022 is when Musk says he might endorse Ron DeSantis. Kind of relevant. I don't know if I'll actually include that in the video. Then 2023 sounds like the first kind of inkling of Doge was in a meeting between Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy and several other people, like David Sachs, who ends up being part of Doge. So that's kind of seems to be the first conception. And then some stuff happened in 2024. I'm not going to go through all this. I'm not showing it to you also, by the way. I'm just looking at it. So we left off on March 31st of 2025, which is right around when it sort of started to seem like Elon Musk was going to leave Doge. Because so basically the reason why people were asking about it, because technically Elon Musk was like his status was like special government employee or something like that, which I believe is like a contract status or something, and the limit someone can be employed under that status is 130 days. And so it started out, people were asking, hey, is he only going to be around for 130 days? And everyone was saying, no, he's going to be around until the job is done. But then, around the end of March, Tesla stock starts plummeting. Take a look at that. Man, it's plummeting right now. What the fuck's happening today? Oh, it's not really that down. It's down compared to earlier today. But if we look at like the past year, so this is around where we are in our timeline. So like around February, the end of February is when it really, well, I mean, really, the end of January is when it really starts to plummet. But kind of the end of March is its lowest point. And it's right around here where Elon Musk is saying like, well, you know, I can't be around forever. I can't work for the government forever. And Trump also makes similar statements around March 31st. This is kind of where we're at right now in our timeline. But one thing I was looking at yesterday that I still don't have an answer to is I don't understand how Doge is allowed or was allowed to do what it did. Because Doge is actually, it's a renaming of an agency, I think is what it was referred to as, in the Obama administration, called the Digital Service Agency. What was it called? I'm just going to pull up the executive order. I don't know why. I always forget what this thing is called. It has like the most generic name in the world, but I can't remember. United States Digital Service. Yeah. So Doge is just a renaming and reorganizing of the United States Digital Service. The United States Digital Service was established under Obama in 2014, and its primary purpose was basically to like get the government up to date technologically. So updating websites and IT like infrastructure and stuff like that. So then Trump comes around on January 20th, 2025, his first day as president. And he writes this, he wrote it himself in crayon. He writes this executive order. And I read this yesterday, so I'm not going to read it fully again. But there's nothing in here that sounds like Doge should have anything to do with like budgeting. Like it sounds like they didn't really change the goal of the United States Digital Service. I forgot what it was called again. Because if you look at like here, we can read this. This is section 1, the purpose. So this is like this is Doge's purpose, right? This executive order establishes the Department of Government Efficiency to implement the president's DOGE agenda by modernizing federal technology and software to maximize governmental efficiency and productivity. What does that have to do with cutting budgets for things? Right? What does modernizing federal technology and software have to do with cutting USAID? I don't understand. And I feel like I also haven't seen anybody talk about that. And I think what it might be is that technically, I believe, I need to maybe look this up, but I believe Elon Musk was not technically part of Doge. I think he was technically hired on as an advisor to the president, and Doge was kind of a separate thing. And so basically, Elon Musk was using Doge to access information. So like, because Doge's goal is to modernize federal technology and software, that kind of gives them license to access files and everything basically that the government has. And so Doge would go in and identify a lot of these files. And then Elon Musk would use that information to make general recommendations to the president, which he's allowed to do as an advisor to the president. So it's kind of, I mean, again, I'm not 100% sure that that's how this worked, but that seems like it's how this works. That's the only thing that I can think of as to why Doge has nothing to do with what everyone says it does. Kind of seems like a hacky way to go about it, but that's nothing new for this administration. But anyway, that was kind of an interesting thing that I was reading about yesterday. So we left off kind of going through. I'll show you what I've been doing. I've been searching Doge Musk. Then we go to tools, do his custom range, and we're going to look at April 1st. Something happens April 1st, I believe. So yeah, this is just talking about what I was already talking about. Basically, I'm going through and I'm looking at each day and looking at headlines to kind of be like, what happened this day? Generally, if something big happens, there will be some kind of headline here. But this one I think is just saying what I already wrote down, which is that Trump kind of said that Elon might leave. Make sure there's nothing else in here. Yeah, this interview, I need to listen to this interview still. I read an article that kind of summarized the interview, but I should still listen to the interview. I just hate listening to these people. Musk would be done by the end of May, according to the 130 days. So, assuming January 20th is when he started, that's when the executive order was signed, so that makes sense. If only weekdays are counted, it could stretch into July. Okay. When did he actually leave? I guess we'll find that out soon. The role is defined as anyone. Oh, that's just for special government employees. Yeah, Musk is technically not the administrator of Doge. And I think that's why, what I was just talking about is why. Because Doge doesn't technically have the authority to do the things that Elon Musk wanted to do. But they had the ability to access the information that Elon Musk wanted to access. There's another thing I was looking at yesterday. And I actually I don't think I ended up putting any of this in my document because I had to leave. But if you go to the Doge website, they have all the things that they've cut. The wall of receipts. And it says the agency, it says the vendor, and it has the amount saved. And if you click on some of these, this is the one I was looking at yesterday. Some of them make sense and some of them don't, and I don't fully understand. So like this one is a contract or a grant, whatever, with Walgreens, and it's for COVID testing. And this is what the total contract was. This is what they cut from it. So the total contract was 3,372,500,881,216. They cut about 3 billion from that. And if you look in here, this is the FPDS, which is the, I forget what this is called. What it stands for, FPDS. Federal Procurement Data System. So this is where all the like contracts are kept. It's all publicly accessible. So I was trying to figure out what all this document is saying, because it sounds like this is the cut. So base and all out options value, total contract value. This is what's cut. So I think this is what date signed 5/8. See, this doesn't have any dates on it, so that makes it a little bit more difficult. So, okay, here's my understanding based on this document. Period of performance start. That is when the grant or whatever contract, we'll call it a contract. This is where the contract starts. So this particular contract started in 2022. Completion date. This is when the contract would end, and it's also when everything should be completed. So like typically, I'm not an expert, but my understanding is that if you have a contract from the government, you get money and you say, I'm going to do particular things with this money. So the completion date theoretically is when all of the things you said you're going to do have been done, and you're no longer getting money from the government. Estimated completion date, that's just when they think it will be done. So in this case, the same estimated completion date is the same as the actual completion date. Solicitation date, I assume that's maybe like when Walgreens sent their like application for this contract. I assume that makes sense. And then, so this part that says date signed, I think that refers to this particular document. And I think this particular document is basically like a change in contract, because I think that's what this information here is. So like action obligation, I'm thinking that this is like, this particular document is regarding these things. Like that's what this document is about. Right, this isn't the signing of the initial grant, because that happened in 2022. This is like a change in the grant amount, and that's what this is. So this is the change in the grant amount. So subtract 3 billion. If you take the total grant amount that's listed here and subtract, what they're subtracting, you get this number, which is about 300 million. Nowhere here is there anything. We need to remember that Doge is supposed to be cutting waste, fraud, and abuse. There's nothing here that tells you what the waste, fraud, and abuse is, right? It's very easy to cut budgets. The problem is, theoretically, if you're cutting waste, what you're saying is, we were spending 3 billion on this program, and we realized that you could do the same amount of, you could do the required work, right? You could do whatever you're saying you're going to be able to do by completion date, actually with only 300 million. And that might be possible. I mean, I doubt it, but it's possible. But there's just nothing here to show that. There's nothing here to show that any of this is waste, fraud, and abuse. It's just, here's the money that they had, and here's how much we cut. aren't we great? So let's look at this one. So this is USAID. Okay, so these are for grants, so these are gonna be a different website. But like, there's no information here. It's just how much they cut and not anything else. Like they brag about their transparency because they have a website, but like it doesn't really have any of the actual important information. So anyway, that was something I was looking at yesterday, trying to figure out. Because if you look at some of these other ones, so like this one that I was looking at from Walgreens kind of makes sense to me, but some of these other ones don't. I don't remember if it was this one. Yeah, I think it was this one. Because if you take this total contract and subtract what they cut, you do not get this number, 185 million. You get like a couple billion, right? This is almost 2 billion. This is like 3.5 billion. It doesn't make sense. And I couldn't figure out why this was not adding up like the Walgreens one was. But this is something I feel like I need to figure out at some point if I'm going to make this video. But I'm mostly just, you know, this isn't the main thing I guess that I maybe we'll talk about in the video is just that this isn't transparency, right? Like you're telling us how much you're cutting, you know, that's something. You're telling us something, but like that's not really the important part. You can go into any budget and cut an arbitrary amount, but that doesn't tell you like what is the waste and the fraud and the abuse. That's the part that I want to know. You know, how do you come up with these numbers? Right? Like why cut 3 billion from this program? It's also, I mean, unsurprisingly, it's generally, this one doesn't even tell you what it is, maybe because it's Department of Defense. Aircraft maintenance is a multiple contract order. But like, yeah, it just doesn't tell you like where this number came from or why. But what I was gonna say is that like, yeah, and also conveniently, a lot of these things that are cut are just things that the administration is like ideologically opposed to, like COVID testing and vaccines and refugee resettlement, and I think this is just AI testing again, stuff like that. I'm sure that's just a coincidence that the things that they don't like are the things that they're cutting. More COVID stuff. But anyway, yeah, that's the main thing that's kind of annoying about this website. Anyway, what else happened on April 1st? Is this a new interview or is this just like a podcast? Elon Musk in this? Who's Ian Bremmer? Is he somebody? I think I've heard that name before, but I think he might just be a journalist. Political scientist and author. Don't care, buddy. Sorry. Yeah, it sounds like this is mostly just reporting on stuff that's happened in the last couple of days. Don't care about Dogecoin. Let's move on. Let's see what Fox News is saying really quickly. Democrats in panic mode as Elon Musk and Doge go public. Okay. This is just a excerpt from the... Yeah, this is just Fox News talking about their own interview. Great stuff. Okay, let's go to the next day. April 2nd. What we got? Same thing. Some point he's going to be going back. That's the same quote. Politico. This is something that I've read already. Pro tip for you at home. If you ever run into something that has a like login, go to this website. You can read it without doing whatever they're asking you to do. Log in or pay money or whatever. Trump tells Inner Circle that Musk will leave soon. This is from March 22nd. It is earlier though. Um, um, so March 22nd, just out of curiosity. Definitely on the downward swing here. Yeah. 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 So that was well within the like downward. That's probably what this boost is from, right? That Politico article. Yeah. So that's still well within Tesla going downhill. I don't know if I read this though. Maybe I should read this. Likely to retain an informal role as an advisor. That's interesting. Because didn't this exactly happen? Anyone who thinks Musk is going to disappear entirely from Trump's orbit is fooling themselves. This is from a senior administrative official. Oh, when was because the other part of this, there's the Tesla stock going down part, but there's also the Wisconsin election. That was what happens on April 1st. I didn't see anything about that though. Because I read the Trump is increasingly mindful of next year's midterms. This was before, but it wasn't before March 30th was the town hall. I need to read more about the Wisconsin election. That's what I need to do. What was it, Supreme Court? When did Elon Musk start talking about this? That's what I want to know. This is from April 2nd. Oh, did Liberation Day also happen April 1st? Yeah, it did, because that was like the joke, right? April 3rd. So on April 2nd is Liberation Day. Okay. We'll get there. Ooh. Oh, okay. Let's go to the Wikipedia page for this. Elon Musk. Musk's involvement in the race drew particular attention due to his especially large monetary contributions, his open partisan support of Schimmel as the Republican candidate in a normally nonpartisan race, and his role in the second Trump administration as the leader of the Department of Government Efficiency. The largest single contributor to any judicial election in United States history. Wait, what? Democratic backed candidate for Wisconsin Supreme Court decries. Sorry, okay, that makes more sense. So these are all from March. Okay, so that's like March 21. These are all from March 21. So is that when he started talking about this? That's what I'm looking for. I feel like I should play music. Because I read faster when I'm not reading out loud. So I don't want to read everything. There, if anybody pops in, I've got some music. I can't hear it, but I mean, I could if I wanted to. Let's look at my phone and see what breaking news there is. Mike Tomlin is stepping down as Pittsburgh Steelers head coach. Okay, nothing I care about. But away from DB, Musk is also at work in Wisconsin, which he holds an election for its state Supreme Court on April 1st. One second, I want to listen to see if this music sounds decent. I don't want to, like, overcrowd. Well, it's very loud in my ears, but that might not be. I'm stupid. I didn't have this going. So how about now? How does it sound now? How does that sound? Oh. Oh, I unmuted the wrong thing. I'm gonna unmute it and I'm gonna turn it down quite a bit because I think it might be loud. How's that? Oh, I unmuted the wrong thing. I'm gonna unmute it and I'm gonna turn it down quite a bit because I think it might be loud. Yeah, okay. That's actually. It's loud in my headphones, but I think that's pretty good for the stream, actually. Yeah, okay. That's actually. It's okay, I'm gonna turn it down slightly. Alright, nobody worry, I'm back. Okay. Maybe I'm not back. 1 second. Okay, lads. We're back. I adjusted my gain a little bit because I went back and listened to it. God, I should probably stop hitting my microphone. I went back and listened to it and sounded a little not great. Sorry, I'm gonna adjust my microphone. Okay. Hopefully this is like optimal. I wanted to, because it was kind of in the way of my monitor. It's annoying. Hopefully this is good enough. Okay. What I'm looking for is when exactly did Elon Musk start focusing on this Wisconsin election? Musk's American Political Action Committee is spending $1 million. That's really funny. It reportedly had to withdraw one social media ad after it featured a photo of a different woman named Susan Crawford. That's really funny. So when did this happen? So Elon Musk's Political Action Committee is spending $1 million to back Schimmel. I want dates, please. So this was January. Okay, that was a lot earlier than I thought. When did his Political Action Committee start doing stuff? Can you can see information about political action committees, right? Total contributions. Total spent. Can I get like a... Can't see what they spent it on. Browse disbursements. So we want... Media purchase, non-federal, February. Kansas. Probably not. I mean, it could be a media company in Kansas, I guess. For a Wisconsin advertisement, I guess. Possible. We don't guess. Creek. No. Okay. Maybe this isn't. It'd be pretty early. I guess not really. February. The election's in April. February. Later February. None of this is Kansas or is in Wisconsin. After. How do I know what these are? Media purchase federal. Like these, I mean, really, I guess all three of these could be. $50,000. Oops. Plus 4.2 plus 12. Spending 1 million. Where is that? It wouldn't be after April. Am I looking at the right thing? Disbursements. Yeah, so it just means this is just them paying people. So total disbursements is like $1.5 million, a little over. Total federal election activity, 0. Other federal operating expenditures, other disbursements. This is just how much raised. This is interesting that he's talking about the back in January. At my time. January 20. Hard to type with this microphone in my. What do you think? Can you guys hear that plane? Luckily, I live close to an airport, so that's awesome. And I also live close to a train, so that's really cool. When did this happen? Another thing that I don't know if I'm actually going to mention, but it's kind of interesting. December 13th, December 20th, 2024. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I'll throw that in there. Again, I don't know. This part probably isn't actually gonna be a video because it's gonna mostly focus on Doge. It's interesting. What did he actually do? Elon Musk endorse. Is that all he did? This tweet. So it sounds like all he did was tweet. He endorsed a candidate. Okay. The only thing I care about is this tweet from this. This tweet. Con. And this was February. Tweets endorsed of AFE in Germany. Okay, not really that relevant, but of that timeline. So it sounds like, I mean, I can't imagine him doing much before January 23rd. It sounds like probably the first time he mentioned this election. I want to ask all journalists, please start putting more dates in your articles. Really annoying. Like, the Musk's America Political Action Committee is spending $1 million to back Schimmel. When did this happen? Right, they spent TV ads. When did these ads start playing? Right, give me some more information here. Yeah, so this is something I definitely... Oops. Musk offering $100 for Wisconsin petition signatures opposing it. Oh, was the $1 million thing, was that... Oh, that was in Pennsylvania, wasn't it? During the general? I was thinking that was Wisconsin, but that's what this is. Yeah. Giveaway during a final stretch of last year's presidential gifting 1 million a day. But when did this happen? There must be a tweet from Musk. He tweets everything. Giveaway through April 1st. I don't know how to spell Wisconsin. Wisconsin. I guess it is exactly what it is. Did you not tweet this? Yeah. We didn't tweet anything about this? I find that really... Come on now, one of you guys gotta... Oh, wait a minute. I don't think I knew that. Wisconsin College Republicans got one. I think I did actually hear about that. So much fun. Okay. So I guess there really isn't that much more to add here. I want to get a date for the $100 payments. Probably not gonna be a date on here. Your date's so hard to find on everything. Just put dates on things, people. Date everything. Sorry. There gotta be dates in the complaint, right? I don't have any dates in here. was before March 22nd. Fired on April 1st. March 20th, 2025. Here we go. That's good. That's good. Okay, so March 20th is when it was posted. But that's the $100 payment. So now I want to look at the $1 million payment. Oh wait, that might have been in the same complaint. Fuck. Where did the complaint go? Isn't the $1 million part in here? March 28th. Wait a minute. March 26th. During the X Live conversation, Musk also said, once again, everybody get your family and friends, text them, call them. On March 26th, PayPal posted on its X account, order from Green Bay had become the first million. When did they say they were going to do that? Was it in this? When did they say they were going to start giving people $1 million? Here, let's go back to the 100. Where was that mentioned? Yeah. So did they not say beforehand that they were doing this? They just announced, hey, this guy won $1 million. Oh, I'm gonna add this to my timeline, but it's hard for me to believe that they do that. Seems like they would have announced it beforehand, but I don't see anything in this about that. So it was like March, did it say like 26 or something? What was that? March 26. That was right. That was the day before this Fox News interview, and they didn't even. That's crazy. So this is. I hate when they do this. There to clarify a previous post he made on social media Friday. When the fuck was Friday? Like they never expect anybody to go back and read these things. So this was in March 28th. This was posted March 28th. What does that mean? It was posted on this day? This is a Friday. Okay, it might be the same day that this article was posted. This is 28th. This would have been first one, so this wouldn't be the announcement. This would have been after the first one, I mean. Okay. I'm going to assume that this... Actually, let me just find this tweet. Yeah, March 28th. Then I'll. I'm gonna look up. May. Got so much more. We got April. I guess we got a month. Well, I guess we got 2 months left in my timeline before we get to when we actually. Okay, I think I'm probably done for now. I might come back in like an hour or so to continue this. So, goodbye.